Welcome. Today I am going to explain about the gross anatomy of the spleen. As we can see, spleen is an organ shaped like a shoe that lies relative to the 9th and 11th ribs and is located in the left hypochondrium and partly in the epigastrium. Thus, the spleen is situated between the fundus of the stomach and the diaphragm. The spleen is very vascular and as you can see it is reddish purple in color and weighs around 200 grams. Now let's see the functions of the spleen. It acts as a filter for blood as part of the immune system. Old red blood cells are recycled in the spleen. Platelets and white blood cells are also stored here. The spleen also helps fight certain kinds of bacteria. On cut opening the spleen, the microscopic view of the spleen shows the following morphological structures: the supporting tissue, the white pulp, the red pulp, and the vascular system. The supporting tissue is fibroelastic and as you can see forms the capsule, coarse trabeculae and a fine reticulum. Now, focusing on the white pulp, you can see the lymphatic nodules which are arranged around an eccentric arteriole called the Malpighian corpuscle. Coming to the red pulp, it consists of sinusoids with a collection of cells in the interstices of the reticulum in between the sinusoids. The cell population in the white and red pulp includes varying distribution and population, all types of lymphocytes, blood cells, and fixed and free macrophages. The lymphocytes are freely transformed into plasma cells, which can produce large amount of antibodies and immunoglobulins. Coming to the vascular system, the spleen is supplied by the splenic artery, which is one of the terminal branches of the celiac trunk and drained by the splenic vein. Discussing about the outer morphology of the spleen has 3 surfaces and 3 borders. Here you see the gastric surface, which has an impression for the fundus of the stomach, which is the largest and most concave impression on the spleen. The inferior border is visible here as the most rounded of all borders. The renal surface, as you see now, is irregular and concave and has impressions for the left kidney. As you see, the renal surface lies between the inferior and intermediate borders, which has not been labeled here. The large convex surface of the spleen, which has not been labeled, is its diaphragmatic surface. Now you see the superior border of the spleen, which is notched at the anterior end. This is the splenic notch. Here you see the colonic surface, which is the colic impression for the splenic flexure of the colon, and its lower part is related to the phrenicocholic ligament. Now you see the hilum of the spleen, which is the portal of its vascular supply and ligamentous connections. The splenic artery and vein is visible here. The peritoneal relations of the spleen form the ligaments which are attached to its hilum. You can visualize the splenorenal ligament, now extended from the hilum of the spleen to the anterior surface of the kidney. It contains the tail of the pancreas and splenic vessels. The gastrosplenic ligament extends from the hilum of the spleen to the greater curvature of the stomach. It contains short gastric vessels and associated lymphatics and sympathetic nerves.